Okay, so I figured I would retell my story, excuse me as I pick my eye boogers, about the time that I met the world's smallest cult leader, Dave Miscavige, or Captain Keebler, whichever you prefer. It was back in probably 1992, I want to say. So, a long time ago. I was a kid. I was like 19. And I live in northwest Connecticut in a little town called New Milford. We're considered what's called like a bedroom community of New York City. And there's a lot of money in them there hills. Sadly, I live in the valley. But yeah, there's Henry Kissinger lives like 20 miles from here. He's not in New Milford, but he's like a border town. And yeah, that's other wealthy people that, live in this area. Rob Zombie, actually, is a neighbor. Peter Gallagher. Who else? Kira Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon. I mean, they're not far from here. They're a little further northwest of us, but so yeah. Anyway, back in the early 90s, they rented out one of our old churches on the Green, and the weekend that they were doing their grand opening, I was working at one of our local bed and breakfasts, called the Heritage Inn, and that night we had. So yeah, I was working as a night auditor, and that meant I worked overnight. I answered the phone, checked people in. Then I was also there in the morning to make breakfast. So that night we had visitors, and it was the man, the myth, the legend, the smallest cult leader in the world, Captain Keebler. And I want to say it was Mike Render, but I can't remember 100%. It was Mike, because I remember having conversations saying, oh, my dad's name's Mike, because my dad's name is Mike. And yeah, I didn't really know who Dave was. Like, I didn't know really much about Scientology. I was raised Christian, we thankfully were never made to go to church as kids, because both my parents were forced as children, and they were Southern, and so they decided to let us make up our own minds as we were growing up if we wanted to go to church or not. And I never decided any denomination, so I believe in Jesus. Not sure what God is, but there's a bigger power out there, and I know that Jesus Christ walked the earth trying to spread love and joy and teach people how to live in harmony and stop hating everybody, and be and let it be type stuff. Anyway, getting off on a little bit of a tangent there. So yeah, didn't know who he was, and he explained, oh yeah, I'm Dave Miscavige, I'm the leader of Scientology, Dianetics. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember my dad reading the book Dianetics back in the 80s. And Dave was super excited. Oh yeah, really? What do you think? And I was like, oh, well, I told him the truth. And I was like, you said the guy had a couple of really good ideas, but the rest of it was a bunch of bullshit. And humble brag, my dad's actually a Mensa member. So yeah. And come to find out, just recently, actually, back in, I want to say it was probably 77, my dad was rejected by Scientology. We were stationed on Schofield Barracks. Dad was in the Army. And it was probably the time my little sister was being born, on Honolulu. She was born in the Pink Hospital, and he had taken a personality test, and they said that he was too self-reliant. So they did not want him. Thank you. Whoever gave him that personality test, I don't know who it was, but thank you. Thank you so much. I would have been one of the cadets. And I am so sorry. Your guys' stories break my fucking heart. They do. I mean, the relationship I have with my family isn't that great either, and there's no cult involved. It's just distance and difference of opinions, I guess. But yeah, anyway, so as they were checking in, I, making small talk, and started talking about how my father was not a tall man, and then my then husband was also not a tall man, and it wasn't like I picked on him for his height. It was just an organic conversation that flowed. We were just talking about how it didn't matter. And, my husband at that time was, short. He wasn't a tall guy. He was only a couple inches taller than me. So it didn't matter. I mean, I'm taller than Dave because he's only 4'13", and I'm like 4'15". So, yeah. Yeah, anyway, so they get all checked in, blah, blah, blah. They get up in their rooms, and a few minutes later, I get a phone call down at the desk, and it is Dave. And his remote control for the television is not working. So back then, we still had the tube TVs, and the remote controls were actually bolted to the stupid end table, the nightstands, so people would not leave with them because electronics were expensive back in the day, Things were new, and, technology was just starting to develop. So, yeah. So I go up there with my little Allen wrench deal and a couple of batteries to go change the batteries in his remote and get that thing working again. And I go bopping up the stairs, and I go up, and I notice that his door is ajar. So, I knock, and I'm like, hey, it's Terry. I'm here to fix, change the battery in your remote. And he's like, oh, yeah, come in. So I push the door open, and there he's laying on his bed with his shirt off and his pants open. Ew. 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 Dude, really? I mean, seriously, I don't know what you expected me to do. Like, hop on? Really? Let me just tell you, no, I was completely beside myself. I fought with the stupid remote control. I don't know what he'd done something to it to make it impossible to get off of the nightstand, but I could not remove that remote control to get to the batteries to save my life. So I busted into another room. Well, didn't bust into. There was another empty room that I was able to get the remote control out of and give to him so it would work on his television. Thank God. It was super creepy. I gave him his remote control, and I was like, thank you, have a nice night, and yeah, went right back downstairs again. And it was really, really, really creepy. And I don't remember if they had breakfast the next morning, but they did. I'm sure he was a total Karen, like he was probably asking for crepes or something retarded. Oh, I hate that word, I'm so sorry. Ridiculous. I hate using that. Where did that come from? Yeah, he wanted something ridiculous like crepes or like, salmon pate or I don't even remember. And I'm like, yeah, you're at the wrong house. So, all right, sorry, buddy. It's waffles, omelets, scrambled eggs. We got Costco muffins and croissants and Danish. Help yourself. Got some orange juice, milk, tea, coffee. That's what you get to choose from. Sorry. I'm not making you crepes. I don't even think I could. No. But anyway, so yeah, that was back in 1992. That church has long since been closed. I'm not even sure what happened. There's clearly not a giant Scientology presence here in the town of New Milford. There is an org down in New Haven, and I'm pretty sure it was just in the news like the beginning of this year about the org being empty for 20 years and them promising to update it back in like the early 2000s, and it's been sitting there this long and it's not had anything done to it. So yeah, that's about it. That's my story. And yeah, whoever it was back in 1977, it was probably like I said, Honolulu. Dad was in the Army, he was studying to become a pilot. And they sent him away for being too self-reliant. And I thank you so much. Thank you so much. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. This is so great. And I hope Liz gets her dad back, and I hope the Kendrew fella gets home and this ends. It's so ridiculous that this has been going on this long when these are actual live adult people. What the fuck is going on? What is going on with society that these people are able to be just stashed away somewhere? And like, these people, they're just people. They are not deities. They are not gods. They are not anything. They are just people. They cannot say, no, you can't see her. Yeah, no, that's no. I'm sorry. That's my husband. That's my brother, my son. I am busting through some people and I am seeing my kid. I am seeing my husband. I am seeing my son. I don't give a shit who they think they are. They're going to have to put a bullet in me to stop me. That's what I'm just saying. So, there it is. Love you guys. Mwah.